A, what is the opportunity cost of going to university, of going to business school? And B, can I get those skills? Can I get the traits that I need in some other cheaper, quicker way? Should you go to business school? Now, I often get asked questions like, should I go to business school? Should I go to university? What is the right path for me to get the career I want, to get the life I want, to get the income I want? There's no right answer for any individual situation. I think, the world's a very different place now. If you go back, 20 years ago when it was time for me to go to university or for me to go to business school, that was very much a kind of a time in life when if you didn't go to university, if you didn't have some pretty heavy duty senior qualifications, then it would be almost impossible to be taken seriously, almost impossible to get a job in any kind of mainstream corporate type company. Obviously that doesn't matter if you're setting up in business for yourself, but often even people who set up eventually in business for themselves, they have a career path that involves working in corporations, working for other people, working their way up the ladder while they get the knowledge, the skill sets, the contacts they need, and then break off and go and do it themselves. But whatever it is you want to do, you need to ask yourself, what is the right route and what is the quickest route for you? Because what you really need to consider is A, what is the opportunity cost of going to university, of going to business school? And B, can I get those skills? Can I get the traits that I need in some other cheaper, quicker way? Now, the cost of going to university in today's world is probably something like $100+ grand exercise. And by the time you look at 3 or 4 years of education, the course, the accommodation, the living expenses, etc. whilst you're there. So what you need to be asking yourself is, can you achieve what you want to achieve in a shorter time scale for less money? Because having that qualification of saying, I've been to university, I've been to business school, will not help you walk through many more doors than you would be able to walk through if you'd learned the skills in a different way. Taking it to its extreme, in today's world, the amount of information that is freely available out there, I would actually argue that every piece of information you could ever possibly need for pretty much any subject is already out there for free. Whether you're taking it from online courses, from YouTube, from Instagram, from mentors, from whatever it may be, you can find all that information for nothing. What you're really paying for when you pay for a course or you pay for a university is really structure, accountability, and a badge at the end of it. I never went to university, I never went to business school. That's a slight liar. I went to university for 6 weeks and realised that whilst I was trying to work at the same time, I wouldn't be able to hold down a course and hold down a job. So I left because I felt that I was going to be able to learn more and get more real world experience working in a business. So these are the things that you guys need to consider. I was obsessed with business from probably 10, 11, 12 years old. I had a dad who was a businessman, so I used to listen to and absorb information from him all the time. I used to pick his brains. I used to read every business book, every business periodical I could get my hands on. Whilst these may not be thought of as formal pieces of education, these are all methods of getting the skill sets that you need to learn. So for me, if you want to be getting set up in business, then I would actually say it's far more important to be learning the skills like sales, like marketing, like networking, like accountancy, human resources and people skills. Getting a good grounding in all of these in a real world environment rather than sticking your head in coursework and books for 3 or 4 years, because the reality is once you come out of business school, you're still not ready for business in the real world. For me, you would still be almost starting at day one, cutting your teeth with the problems. Now, I really find that the things that I've learned in business have come from that on-the-job training of doing, of failing, of tweaking, of doing again. And they're the things that you can never learn in business school. Obviously, what people could learn in business school will be the things that I would have learned from books, I would have learned from videos, I would have learned from listening to other people. But that's how I got my knowledge. And then putting that into action is a whole new world. I guess, an analogy for me would be with boxing, for example. You can do fitness all day. You can do weeks and weeks of pads and exercises like that. But until you actually get in a ring in a sparring situation, until somebody punches you in the face or punches you in the stomach, it doesn't matter how many pads you've done. It doesn't matter how much fitness training you've done. There's nothing like being in that situation. So for me, if you really want to accelerate your kind of business knowledge, your career in business, you need to get out there and and be doing things as soon as humanly possible. So if you are at university and you do decide to go down the route of going to a business school, can you be doing an apprenticeship? Can you be doing a part-time job? Can you be working alongside people at the same time? Because the real learnings you're going to get are going to be from being in those real world business situations. But like most things that I've talked to you guys about, the right answer for me is not the right answer for you, is not the right answer for somebody else. There is almost no right answer. It's what is the right answer for you and for your situation. But I just think it's very important now to consider all the other options out there. And for anyone listening to this who is not particularly interested to have a career in business, but knows the rough direction they want to go in, but doesn't know if they should be going to university or not, most of what I've just talked about in here applies to you as well. There's so many different routes to get to your end destination now. University, college, online learning, apprenticeships, learning by doing and making mistakes. So there's no one right answer, and what you need to do is find the quickest, cheapest, most effective route for yourself.